My name is Abigail Ross. I'm 46 years old, and this past March, I died on a hospital floor for 19 minutes. I've been an ER registered nurse for over 20 years at a major hospital in Denver, Colorado. My life until that day was what you would call normal, predictable even. It was my husband, Michael, our teenage daughter, Chloe, and me. Our world revolved around Chloe's volleyball schedule, paying the mortgage, and trying to find the energy for a date night once a month. I prayed, but if I'm being honest, it was mostly out of habit. Little automatic prayers in the car on the way to a chaotic shift. Quick, whispered prayers for my patients before a code blue was called. I believed in God in the way you believe in a distant, historical figure. I knew he was there, but he felt far away, like a kind grandfather who lived in another country and rarely called. I considered myself a good person. I was kind to my patients. I worked hard. I loved my family with everything I had. I never, ever expected anything like this to happen to me. That day was just another Wednesday, which in the ER means a relentless, chaotic stream of human suffering. The unit was packed. I remember I had just helped stabilize a young man from a multi-car pileup, his life hanging by a thread. I was finally on my lunch break, already an hour late. I walked into the break room, the air thick with the smell of burnt popcorn and stale coffee. I poured a cup of the lukewarm coffee, my body aching with a familiar exhaustion. The last thing I remember is my left hand starting to tingle. It was a strange pins and needles feeling that shot up my arm with an electric intensity. I thought, that's odd, I must have slept on it wrong. Then a crushing weight slammed into my chest. It felt like an anvil was sitting on me, squeezing the very life out of my lungs. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't even make a sound to call for help. My knees buckled. In that terrifying, silent moment, all I could think about was the stupid, pointless argument I'd had with Chloe that morning. She had a volleyball game, an important one, and I had to miss it for a mandatory hospital training session. "You always choose work," she had yelled, her eyes flashing with a hurt that was deeper than just a missed game. I had yelled back something about responsibility and paying the bills. I had left the house angry, the slam of the front door echoing in the space between us. As my head hit the cold linoleum of the break room floor, a single, silent tear rolled down my cheek. "I'm so sorry, Chloe." Then everything went completely and utterly black, but it wasn't like falling asleep. It was a stopping, a full stop. The pain vanished instantly. The crushing pressure on my chest was gone. The chaotic sounds of the hospital, the beeping, the overhead pages, the distant wail of a siren faded into a gentle hum and then complete perfect silence. I felt a pull, a gentle lift, as if the very essence of me was being untethered from the heavy, broken machinery of my body. I opened my eyes and my breath caught in my throat, except I wasn't breathing. I was floating. I was up near the ceiling, looking down. I could see my own body on the floor. My friend, another nurse named Sarah, was running into the room. She screamed my name, Abby, oh my God, Abby. I saw her drop to her knees and start chest compressions with a practiced, desperate rhythm. It was the most surreal experience imaginable. I'm a nurse. I've done this 100 times. I've been the one yelling, "Get the crash carts, call a code." But now I was watching it happen to me, and I felt nothing but a strange, detached calm. There was no fear, there was no panic. I watched them wheel the crash cart in. I saw them put the pads on my chest. I heard my friend Sarah shout, "Clear," and I saw my own body jump as the electricity surged through it. It was like watching a movie, a sad movie about someone I used to know. I felt a wave of overwhelming love for my coworkers, for their desperate, heroic fight to save me. I felt a deep love for my husband, Michael, who would be getting a call soon that would shatter his world. I felt a love so fierce for my daughter, Chloe, it was a physical ache. But I didn't feel like that body on the floor was me anymore. I was lighter, I was more myself than I had ever been in my 46 years on Earth. Then I felt another pull, a stronger, more insistent one. The break room, my friends, my own body, it all started to fade away, like a dream you can't hold on to when you wake up. I turned and I wasn't in the hospital anymore. I was in a place of deep, velvety darkness. But it wasn't a scary, empty dark. It was a comforting, peaceful darkness, a quiet, holy place of waiting. In the distance, I saw a tiny speck of light, like a single star in the deepest night sky. As I looked at it, it began to grow. It wasn't just getting bigger, it was coming toward me. Or maybe I was going toward it. The light grew brighter and brighter, a warm, golden white light that felt alive. It felt like love. The closer it got, the more I could feel it washing over me, this incredible, overwhelming feeling of being completely and totally known. Every mistake I had ever made, every secret thought, every hidden shame, it was all known in this light. And it was all okay. I wasn't just accepted, I was cherished. The light took on a form, it was a man. I couldn't see his face clearly at first. It was too bright, like trying to look directly at the sun. But it wasn't a burning light, it was a living, breathing light. He wore a simple robe of a white so brilliant it seemed to be the source of all color. His hair was dark and flowed to his shoulders. But it was his eyes. When he finally looked at me, I knew. There was no doubt it was Jesus. His eyes weren't blue or brown. They were made of liquid love and eternal truth. They saw everything I had ever been and everything I was meant to be, all at once. He didn't have to say a word, I just knew. Tears started to fall, but they weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of pure, unburdened joy. I felt like a lost child who had been wandering in a crowded store for hours and had finally found her father. He smiled, and the universe seemed to smile with him. His voice wasn't a sound that came through my ears. It was a feeling, a thought that filled my entire being. It was peace, it was truth, it was strength, all woven into one. "Welcome, Abigail," he said, "be at peace." I just wept. I fell to my knees, not because I had to, but because every part of me wanted to. I felt so unworthy. I thought about the worn-out, stained nursing scrubs my body was wearing back on that floor. I thought of all the times I rushed my prayers, the times I judged a patient, the times I was short with my husband because I was tired. He reached out his hand, and it glowed with a soft, gentle light. He didn't touch me, but I felt his touch all the same. "I don't see the scrubs, my child," he said, his voice so gentle it mended parts of me I didn't even know were broken. "I see your heart. I see the love you gave when no one was watching. I see the tears you cried for strangers in the quiet of your car. I see you." I looked up at him, and all the shame, all the feelings of not being good enough, just melted away. In its place was a love so profound, so absolute, it's impossible to describe with human words. We were just there for a while in that perfect love. It could have been a minute or 1,000 years. Time didn't exist there. Then his expression grew more serious, though still full of love. He looked at me with a deep, knowing sadness. "There are things you need to see," he said. "Things you must tell them. The world has set up new gods. They worship stars, but not the stars I placed in the heavens. They build their lives around men and women of fame and fortune. Their hearts are turned away from me." The beautiful space around us shifted. It was like we were standing on a great balcony overlooking the world. I saw images flicker before me like a giant, living screen. "I am going to show you something that will be hard to see," he said. "It is a warning, it is a call to pray. Many of the idols the world looks up to are in great danger. Their time is short. This year, 2025, will be a time of great shaking." The first image that appeared was of a man I knew instantly. He was a world-famous musician, a rock star whose songs were anthems for a generation. I saw him on a massive stage, bathed in lights, with tens of thousands of people screaming his name, holding up their phones like a sea of little candles. The adoration was like a physical force, a wave of energy flowing toward him. He soaked it up, his arms outstretched. But then Jesus allowed me to see past the stage, behind the curtain of fame. He showed me the man's heart. It was like a vast, hollowed-out cavern, dark and empty. I saw him alone in a giant, cold mansion, surrounded by platinum records and empty champagne bottles. I saw a long line of pills lined up on his marble countertop. I saw the ghostly faces of the people he had used and discarded on his way to the top. He had millions of fans, but he was desperately, frighteningly alone. He was a prisoner in the very kingdom of fame he had built for himself. He has been given a great gift, Jesus said, his voice filled with a profound sorrow. His music could have brought light and hope, but he chose to glorify darkness and himself. His pride has built a wall around his heart so high that he can no longer hear me calling. Pray for him, Abby. His hourglass is almost empty. I felt a deep, gut-wrenching ache in my soul for this man. I had seen him on television and, like everyone else, thought he had everything. But he had nothing that mattered. The scene changed. Now I saw a woman. She was a famous actress known for her comedies. She was America's sweetheart. She had a laugh that could light up a room and a smile that seemed so genuine on talk shows. The world loved her, but Jesus pulled back the curtain. I saw her in her car, parked in a dark, underground garage, just weeping. It was a deep, guttural sobbing that came from a place of absolute, soul-crushing despair. She was surrounded by an entourage of people who were paid to be her friends, but her soul was starving for real love, for a peace she could never find. She would put on the bright, bubbly smile for the cameras, and then go home and crumble into a million pieces in the silence. She makes the world laugh, Jesus said softly, but her own heart is broken. The world praises her for pretending to be someone else, but no one knows who she really is. She is tired, Abby, very tired. She believes the lie that her life is worthless when the cameras are off. Tell them to pray for her. Tell them that the unconditional love they are searching for in people like her can only be found in me. My own tears were flowing now. I saw it so clearly. We put these people on pedestals. We watch their every move. We want to be like them. But they are just people. Lost people drowning in a sea of praise that cannot save them. Then he showed me a third person. This one was different. He was a man of immense power and wealth, a tech billionaire. He was changing the world with his inventions. People called him a genius, a visionary. He stood on stages and spoke of building the future, of saving humanity with technology, of transcending human limits. He was confident, brilliant, and powerful. Jesus showed me his private moments, the coldness with which he treated his family, the ruthless way he destroyed his business rivals. He didn't believe in God, he believed in himself. He thought his money and his mind could solve every problem, even death. I saw him pouring billions of dollars into projects to extend his own life, to upload his consciousness, to cheat the very thing that God has appointed for every person. This one's pride grieves me the most, Jesus said, and I could feel the divine pain in his voice. He seeks to become a god himself. He builds towers of Babel with his wealth and his code, thinking he can reach heaven on his own terms. He has been given a brilliant mind to serve humanity, but he has used it only to serve his own ego. His foundation is built on sand, and a storm is coming this year that will wash it all away. When he stands before me, all his billions will be like dust. The visions faded. I was standing before Jesus again, my heart heavy with everything I had seen. I didn't know what to say. Why? I whispered. Why are you showing this to me? I'm nobody. I'm just a nurse from Denver. He looked at me, and the unconditional love in his eyes was overwhelming. Because you have a gentle heart, Abby, you see the pain behind the smiles. I am not showing you this so you can gossip or predict headlines. I am showing you this as a sign for my people to wake up, he continued, his voice full of gentle urgency. When these figures fall, as they will, the world will tremble, but my children should not be shaken. Do not put your faith in famous people, in politicians, in billionaires. They are mortal, they are dust. Put your faith only in me. Their deaths or their downfall will not be a tragedy, he said, but a mercy for some, a judgment for others, but for all it is an invitation. An invitation to look away from the dying stars of earth and to look to the Creator of the stars in heaven. The message is not who will die, he said, his gaze piercing my soul. The message is that everyone will. The clock is ticking for every single person. Tell them to stop chasing the wind. Tell them to stop worshiping idols of flesh and blood who will one day turn to bone. I understood it wasn't about the celebrities at all. It was about us. It was about where we put our hope, our attention, our worship. A deep peace settled over me, a peace I had never known. I was home. This was where I belonged. The thought of going back to the loud, painful, broken world was unbearable. Please, I begged him, the words catching in my throat. Please let me stay. I don't want to go back. I'm so tired. Please, Lord, let me stay here with you. He smiled, but it was a sad, knowing smile. He knew my heart. My precious child, he said, your love for your family is a beautiful thing. Michael and Chloe still need you. Your work on earth is not yet finished. He moved closer. There are other patients you must care for, not just their bodies, but their souls. You have seen the truth. Now you must be a beacon of it in a dark place. You will be my hands and my feet. You will bring my peace to those who are in fear. It will not be easy, he continued. Some will not believe you. They will call you crazy. But you will know the truth, and I will be with you. I will never leave you. The thought of leaving him, of leaving this perfect love, was the greatest pain I have ever felt. It was a physical tearing in my soul. I sobbed, not wanting to go. It is only for a little while, he said, his voice a loving promise. Go and tell them I love them. Tell them I am waiting. He touched my forehead. A wave of brilliant, warm light went through me, and then I was falling. The peace was gone, replaced by a violent, jarring crash back into reality. I gasped, a raw, ragged gasp for air that burned my lungs. The first thing I felt was pain, agonizing pain in my chest like I'd been kicked by a horse. The lights of the break room were blindingly bright. The antiseptic smell of the hospital, a smell I knew so well, was suddenly harsh and disgusting. Someone was screaming my name. She's back, we've got a pulse. I saw Sarah's face above me, tears streaming down her cheeks. Abby, can you hear me? My own eyes filled with tears, but this time they were tears of grief. I had just left heaven, I had just left him. I tried to speak, but only a hoarse croak came out. The room was spinning, I felt heavy, so heavy, trapped in this broken, fragile body again. They rushed me to the ER and then to the ICU. I was the patient now. They told me I had suffered a massive, sudden cardiac arrest. They said I was clinically dead for 19 minutes. The doctors couldn't explain it. They ran every test. There was no lasting heart damage, no brain damage, which they said was impossible after that long without oxygen. They called it a medical miracle. My cardiologist, Dr. Evans, kept shaking his head, looking at my chart and then looking at me. I can't explain this, Abby, he said. Someone up there must really like you. I just smiled faintly, if only he knew. The days in the hospital were a blur. My husband Michael never left my side, his hand holding mine, his face etched with a fear I had never seen in him before. Chloe came in, her eyes red and puffy. She hugged me so tight. I'm sorry about the fight, Mom, she whispered into my shoulder. I held her and cried. It doesn't matter, honey, I told her. None of it matters, only love. My life is different now. I went back to work, back to my ER unit. But I am not the same nurse. When I walk into a patient's room now, I don't just see a chart and a diagnosis. I see a soul, a precious, eternal soul that God loves fiercely. I hold their hands and I pray for them, not out of habit, but with a fire in my heart. I tell them about a peace that this world cannot give. Some of them look at me like I'm crazy, but others have tears in their eyes. They are scared and they listen because they know I'm not just talking from a textbook, I'm talking from experience. My own prayers are different too. I don't just ask for things anymore. I just talk to him because I know he is not distant. He is right here, closer than my own breath. So I am telling you what he asked me to tell you, what I saw with my own eyes. Heaven is real, Jesus is real, and he loves you more than you can possibly imagine. But your time here is short, all of our time is. So I have to ask you, who are you worshiping? What stars are you looking up to? Is it a singer, an actor, a politician, a billionaire? Is it your job, your bank account, your own success? I saw it. I saw that those things are nothing but dust in the wind. They cannot save you. They cannot give you peace. They cannot love you back. He asked me to warn you, with love, to tell you to turn your eyes away from the temporary idols of this world, because many of them are falling, and he does not want you to fall with them. If you are wondering if God is real, if he sees you, if he hears you, I am here to tell you as someone who has been in his presence. He does. He is waiting and he loves you. That is the message. It's that simple and it's that profound.